Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be taking our third look through the vintage Giles Annuals. Now, perhaps not so vintage this time round, as they start in 1997 with volume 51, and we work our way all the way up to the 2021 annual, which came out last year. So I do hope you enjoy it. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay, so we start off with the 51st annual, and this one was 1998, published by Pedigree. And we have got quite a few annuals to get through today to get us right up to date, so I'm not going to dwell too long on them, but the standard format of these now was basically you had the introduction, usually by a named person. In this case it was Billy Connolly, as we see here, and the books were predominantly reprints. So these ones are, these Pedigree ones are not the greatest quality paper, and they do just reprint at random, it seems, past Giles cartoons. They don't even put the dates of when these were first published, so you don't really know. There's no sort of historical context about where the cartoons have come from. So this particular period of the Giles books is, well, perhaps not my favourite. It was always good to get them at this point, but even so, they're just not perhaps my favourite ones. But that was the 1998. Next one is 1999, and we'll just fly through these. So we've had a look at them. This one's got an introduction by John Chalice, and in actual fact this one does say on the front, containing cartoons never before published in an annual. So I guess they did raid the archives for this one. And you'll note at the top, they have now put in the original date where the cartoons came from. So some of these, I believe they must have, well, I guess scanned the original newspapers and then put them into the annual form. So that's really good to see. Actually put a little bit of work into this one. But you see the quality of it. A lot of the actual images are a little bit fainter, and that's because I guess they've not got the original artwork, perhaps. I believe there's a big room full of all, well, not all, but a lot of original Giles artworks. Just spotted one there. I don't know if I can go back to it now, but you could almost see the page underneath coming through. Look, there we are, look. So they've reprinted that one there, but you can almost see the page that was underneath where they've sort of scanned either the original paper or you know, well, I don't know, a file copy possibly. Interesting, eh? So, well, a bit of effort in the 1999 annual, which is to be commended, really. 2000 then. So it's good that they've got the nice colourful covers. I do like that, that's for sure. And this one introduced by David Dimbleby. Sadly, no more brand new ones here. These are just straightforward reprints again. And that's fine. I mean, the thing was, for a long time, the early annuals were very, very expensive to collect. And it was a way to get earlier cartoons cheap, wasn't it? 2001, introduction by Dame Thora Hird. There we are, and it is a shame, a nice gold logo there, but it is a shame that these Pedigree ones, they just seem to be printed on quite low quality paper. Yeah, they just don't feel that, you see this sort of yellowy a little bit, and they just don't feel that nice in the hand. These books are 20 years old now, and they've not aged particularly well, so if you are picking a few up, do try and get them in as good a condition as you possibly can. But this is straightforward reprints, all in sort of chronological order. That's 2001. Okay, 2002. This one's with an introduction by Sir Trevor MacDonald, OBE. Another nice busy cover, which I always like. Little doll of grandma up on the shelf there. This is the 55th. There we are. And once again, it's just more of the same. Obviously, by this time, Giles had been dead for some years, and they were just literally mining the archives. Here's the 2003. I really like this cover, and I'm not sure where they've got these covers, if these were original Giles cartoons, which they've then sort of blown up, maybe enhanced a little bit, and then got a professional to colour them in. But this is a really good one, where they've got the family coming out of the corner shop there with their holiday snaps developed, and the kids are all smiling, looking at their pictures, but the parents aren't. This one's got an introduction by Sue McGregor. But once again, really nothing we've not seen before. Just all sort of standard reprints. Now I think around this sort of time, Pedigree started reprinting the original Giles Annuals back from #1 in those lovely facsimile editions with the slipcases, and I've got a fair few of those. I haven't got them all, but I've got most of them. So I will cover some of the sort of non-annual, traditional annual stuff in a further video. So those slipcase ones, calendars, jigsaws, other bits and pieces of memorabilia that's come out over the years that I've managed to pick up. So this is the one for 2004 with an introduction by Warren Mitchell. He was, I guess, most famous for playing Alf Garnett on TV. Another nice colourful cover, which is lovely. And this is this one, I believe, celebrates sort of the seasons, sort of like Christmas, Easter, summer, winter, that sort of thing. There we are. Yeah, so sort of the 4 or 5 different themed reprints in this one. This is the Christmas ones, and then Easter and what have you, and summer and winter. Cool stuff. So that's the year 2004. Now that was the last for Pedigree, because in 2005 the publication came back to under the banner of Express newspapers, and with this absolutely gorgeous, it's almost like a painted jacket, isn't it, with this lovely green boat cover here on the lake. Very, very nice. So packed steamer coming along there, and grandma's boat's in the way. Kids diving for cover, and reminiscent of those early covers. The kids are there all prepared to take a picture and record it all. Brilliant stuff. Very, very nice. I wonder where they dug that one up from. So this is the 56 one, an introduction by Alan Titchmarsh. And just your standard reprints again, but certainly the paper feels a bit better. It's not that sort of cheapy pulp paper which the Pedigree books had. So they've gone slightly more upmarket for this one, since the publication has been taken over by the Express newspaper, which seems to be a step in the right direction for sure. But still, not a lot beyond that. I was hoping, that we would have something a little bit more advanced. Now this is a real step back, so it's still Express newspapers for the next few years, but that lovely gorgeous cover, it's reduced to this, which is awful. And unfortunately they stay in this format for a few years now. Just a plain sort of black and white Giles cartoon on the front. This is the 2006 one. $7.99 the price, and this is the 59th. Introduction by Jim Bowen, of Bullseye fame, and also a stand-up comic. So pretty much what you would expect. A few different sort of aspects of society to look at, and then they themed the cartoons in. There we are. So take a quick pause there, and we'll pull the camera back. Okay, so we're back with the 2007 annual. It's got this sort of nice purple cover, but once again, it's just got that sort of square cut out black and white front cover, which isn't great, is it? I don't think they're great like this, but thankfully it didn't go on that long, but it does, I think, spoil this particular period of Giles history. Nothing more fancy than the standard sort of reprints again. And I guess you have to wonder a little bit about what sort of market they were aiming these for, you know. It definitely wasn't for the collector, these new ones. So here's the 2008. I suppose one good thing about the annuals is that they are, I do like the fact that they're much more colourful, although these are black and white on the front. The main sort of primary colours are different, and you know, those early ones, if there's one thing you could say about them, is they, apart from the jackets, they're all quite stale looking on the shelf. This one seems a bit thinner. I mean, this one also introduces, look, spot the difference, which was a bit of a weird thing to do, but you know, I understand perhaps the appeal because the Giles cartoons were quite detailed in a lot of cases, but just doing a simple spot the difference, I mean, honestly, it's not a kid's book, and they did only do this for a year or two, and then it was dropped, thankfully. But yeah, a bit of a weird thing to put into an annual, if you ask me. But at least they've tried to think about something different to put in. Much better paper quality on this one as well, you'll be pleased to hear. So all in all, not a bad little package, that one. It's just, yeah, the spot the difference did seem a little bit out of place. 2009 then, the yellow coloured annual. Introduction by Christopher Biggins. More spot the difference answers, or spot the difference quizzes on this one, which, as I said, it just seems a bit of a weird thing to put in, doesn't it? But, you know, there you go. And beyond that, just straightforward reprints. So that was 2009. 2010 then is this blue one, and I have to say, although some of these were the last few I had to get, in the end I'd never paid more than £1 or £2 for each of these later ones, so they are out there. But if you were to buy them individually, you would end up paying quite a bit for them. So the way I found most efficiently to buy them was in little groups of 3 or 4. They worked out like £1 each with a bit of postage. Yes, I might get a few doubles, but I was able to sort of pass them on to a friend of mine who also collects Giles books. And the ones which were a bit low grade, I just handed in to the charity shop. So everyone's a winner. So this is, yeah, 2010. Once again, a few sort of subsections, and no actual introduction per se. It was just a little bit written about Giles himself, and then the usual selection of reprinted cartoons, once again loosely themed by a subject. Nothing we've not seen before for the 2010 annual. 2011. Got the green, and still keeping the same sort of format, taking like a classic cartoon and sort of framing it up there. And it says the majority of the cartoons featured in this book have yet to appear in an annual, making this an invaluable addition to your Giles collection. So that's good news. So the 2011 annual then is one to look out for, because it's got cartoons that haven't been included prior to this date in an annual. So for that reason alone, it will be worth picking this one up. So it looks like, you know, once again, someone's gone through and they've trawled the archives, but I mean, it must be quite a job. You'd have to cross-reference every single cartoon that got published and see if it had been reprinted or not in an annual. So like that, for example, it does seem a little bit faded, doesn't it? Like that's probably one that's never been reprinted before. But sadly, no actual historical context. And looking at the spine here as well, I don't know if you spot that, but the 2010 onwards are now being published by Hamlyn, the publisher Hamlyn, not Express Newspapers. So 2012 one, and look at that, a beautiful cover again. Just what we've been craving. And that, what a difference that makes. I mean, it's just incredible compared to the ones that we've just been looking at, you know. And obviously we got Father Christmas there playing Grandma poker, and she's holding, looks like a flush. Compilation includes 150 cartoons packed with fun details and clever characterization. A must for any Giles fan. Doesn't say anything about these being brand new or being never before collected, so I'm guessing we've lucked out there. And then forward, and then we're on into a few different themes again. Forward is by Adam Hart Davies, and then it's just your standard stuff going forward again. Reprinting these almost like randomly. No explanation of what was going on in the news, so that you actually knew, you know, what the cartoon was relating to. And that, I think, is what was missing with this little period of annuals. So you really did need to have pretty good history of, you know, modern British history to know exactly what was going on, history of the 20th century. So 2013, nice cover again. The Giles family there, looks like they're picking a turkey for Christmas. Collection for 2013 here, and a forward by John Field. Now, John Field became the series editor, and what he did, as you can see, the cartoons were printed, but they gave it some historical context. So finally we knew what some of these cartoons were referring to, because unless you read them in order, so say all the cartoons to say 1958, 59, you knew a little bit about what was happening in Britain at that time, these cartoons really wouldn't mean anything. So that's why John Field himself has added on these little lines across the top there, just in case you didn't really know what was going on. And that does make all the difference. These become far more fun to read now because you've got a clue about what was happening, you know. There we are. So in the summer of '66, the country was on the brink of an economic crisis. That's all we need to know. So now we know that, you know, when they say, now say sorry to Teddy for knocking him off the table. It's not his fault we've got another crisis. We now know what that refers to. So that was 2013. 2014, another great jacket, this one. The kids lining up for a snowball fight, or to snowball the carol singers, in fact, by the look of it. Looks brilliant, doesn't it? The only thing missing from that is Giles's follow-up, where they've been snowballed and the kids are running off. And then this is much the same as last time. You've got the added historical context along the top, and then a selection of reprints. Nice high quality paper on this one as well. John Field did his introduction, and there was also a foreword by John Sargent. So 2015 is a hardback now. Don't know where this one came from, except I've got a few hardbacks in my collection. So I honestly don't know if these were released in both paperback and hardback. But I, for one, am very glad of its hardback form. It's great, and another colour illustration on the back. And these do seem quite sumptuous with their coloured end papers as well, which fit in with the actual cover design of the book. And then definitely on nice high gloss paper. John Field edited and did the introduction. And the explaining text along the top, which is what we want. Brilliant, this is it. Forward by Linda Bellingham, that one. And good stuff, isn't it? That, if only they were all like that, because that's a great album, that one. So that was 2015. 2016, we're back to paperback again, which makes me think, I don't know if it was an experiment, and maybe an experiment that didn't go so well, or I'm not sure, but we do have some hardbacks later. So yeah, 2016, so guys driven into Santa's sleigh by the look of it. And of course, a lot of these have got Christmas covers because this is when you traditionally bought the Giles Annual. And I would always get mine to this day, right up to this Christmas just gone. I made sure Mum was picking me up the Giles Annual for my Christmas present. I said, you started this tradition back in like 1976, so it's not stopping now. So she was happy to oblige. So she's now getting me the Giles Annuals each year again. After a brief hiatus in the early 2000s. And then these are just as you would expect. Got your explanation along the top if you didn't know what was going on. And does this one have a little introduction by anybody? Let's see. Forward by Judith Miller of the Miller Antiques series, which I was never really a fan of. 2017 then. Now that looks very much like an old Giles Annual cover, doesn't it? Looks like the cover to number, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, number 12 or 13. That's what that looks like to me. $8.99, 2017. Introduction by Grandma. Compiled by John Field, 4 by Carol Klein. There we are, and this is a Grandma special. Look, Grandma at home, Grandma at large. An all Grandma special. She is the classic character, isn't she? Yeah, brilliant stuff. That was 2017. 2018. Another gorgeous cover there. 4 by Bill Turnbull, it says on the front there. More of the same. We've got a good format going now. So that's 2018. 2019, we're back to another hardback. There's that one there. I do love these hardback editions, they sound really nice. A bit more expensive than the normal one, they're $12.99, but even so. They just feel so weighty in the hand, they're great. So keeping the same sort of format, which we've now gone to love. I think they've sort of nailed it now, which is great. Taken them long enough to do that. It's quite good, a little bit more of an introduction. I mean, it doesn't take a lot, does it? Let's be honest. But I think it was just something that was missing on some of those 90s books. So the 2020 annual is this great one here. Another Father Christmas on his sleigh. Going up the motorway, the M1. Great stuff. Nice coloured M papers again. They're really nice, these hardbacks. John Field compiled it. Little hidden jokes inside the cartoons for you to look out for this time. Good stuff. And then we've got our very last one, which was the most recent annuals. This is, as we film this, the 2021 that comes out in the UK around sort of November time for the Christmas humour market. This one back to paperback again, so I don't know what's going on there, but once again, nice, really nice painted jacket there, painted cover. And this one has it takes the best of the introductions from the past, so includes Spike Milligan, Sean Connery, Prince Charles, Frank Sinatra, doing their introductions to Giles' books. So he's taken like a paragraph from each. There we are, from those different introductions that have been done into Giles Annuals over the years, which is quite nice, isn't it? And there we are, and then we're into normal sort of reprint territory, but with the all the cartoons put into historical context, which is brilliant. And I guess this is the format it's going to be going forward. I just hope they continue to make the Giles Annuals, because they very much are a part of my my history and my growing up as a child. So it's a great little tradition to keep going. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that look through this last batch of vintage Giles Annuals. Now, I have got one more video planned, and that will look at the reprinted Giles Annuals, the calendars, the jigsaws, and any other bits and pieces of memorabilia that I've got lying around, which I think might be of interest to you. So look out for that one very soon. Thank you very much for watching today, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.